Bàbá mi, orúkọ tèmi ni Délé Adéyanjú. Inú mi dùn láti wà pẹ̀lú yín bí lénìí ní ilé yín tó wà ní Agbowó ní agbègbè University of Ibadan. Ẹ bá mi dárúkọ yín sà, nítorí àwọn èèyàn tó bá ń wò wá lójú òpó YouTube fúngbà àkọ́kọ́.
Nígbà tèmi náà ń kí yín káàbọ̀ sínú ilé ń bí. Orúkọ tèmi ni Olóyè Olúṣẹ́gun Ọlátúndé Àjàní Òjó.
Olóyè Olúṣẹ́gun Ọlátúndé Àjàní Òjó.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ṣára ò lébi.
Adúpẹ́, ara le koko.
All right sir. Ojú ti rí tó. Kódà ó wà nínú orin kan tẹ́ ẹ kọ rí.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Bí ojú ti rí tó. Tá bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa tójú àgbà rí, tá bá wá síbi tá lo odidi ọ̀sẹ̀ kan láti fi gbọ́ àwọn ìrírí yín, ó tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ojú bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ṣùgbọ́n lénìí fún àǹfààní tiwa àti fún àwọn tí ó máa wò wá lójú òpó YouTube, wọ̀nba tá bá rí gbámú, ìbá ṣe wákàtí kan, ìbá ṣe wákàtí méjìlá lọ, àá fi ọgbọ́n gbé, àá dẹ̀ rí pé a pa kinní ìmọ̀ nítorí ìgbà tí ẹ̀yin ò bá ní sí láàrin wa mọ́. Táwa náà tó rí nǹkan fílẹ̀ di ọmọ.
Kábíyèsí.
Olóyè Ṣẹ́gun Òjó, ẹ tó ẹni ọdún mélòó ní ọdún 2022 tá wà yìí?
Ọmọ ọdún 87 ni mí báyìí.
87 jẹ́ 77 years.
77 years.
Ní ọdún 2022. Ọjọ́ wo, oṣù wo, ọdún wo gan la bí yín?
A bí mi ní April 19, Tuesday, April 19, 1945.
Ṣé ọmọ ìlú Ìbàdàn ni yín ni? Torí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń fojú Ìbàdàn wò yín torí pé ẹ ti pẹ́ nílùú Ìbàdàn.
Kì í ṣe pé mo pẹ́ ní Ìbàdàn nìkan. Tí mo bá sọ pé ọmọ Ìbàdàn paraku ni mí, ọmọ Ìbàdàn ni mí nítorí pé bàbá tó bí ìyá mi, bàbá Sàlámì Abdulsalami Agbájé, Abdulsalami Àyìndé Agbájé, tí wọ́n àwọn mìíràn sọ pé Agbájé lọ́lá, Agbájé ṣọlá ni o, torí ajé ní gbé ló di Agbájé. Agbájé yẹn gangan ìnagijẹ ni.
Agbájé ṣọlá ni, kò kí ń ṣe Agbájé lọ́lá.
Kì í ṣe Agbájé lọ́lá, Agbájé ṣọlá.
Kí ni relationship tó wà láàrin Agbájé ṣọlá àbí Agbájé lọ́lá tẹ́ ẹ sọ yìí pẹ̀lú the popular Fuji creator Síkírù Àyìndé Barrister táwọn náà jẹ́ Agbájé lọ́lá?
Wọ́n ní bí kinní kan bá pẹ́ ní lọ́ṣẹ, báwo ni wọ́n ṣe ń pòwe o?
Tí ó bá pẹ́ lára ọṣẹ.
Bí ó bá pẹ́ lára ọṣẹ, òun náà ó dọṣẹ. Ṣé ẹ rí bàbá Barrister gangan? A ti wọnú ara wa débi pé ẹnìkan kan ò lè mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe Agbájé lò náà torí pé eégún wa ni. Bàbá Barrister ni eégún wa ní Ayẹyẹ.
Bàbá tó bí Barrister.
Bàbá tó bí Barrister Dákẹ́jà. Ó ní nígbà tí bàbá jẹ balógun, ọ̀pá balógun yẹn ilé wọn ló wà. Ilé wọn la gbé ọ̀pá balógun sí. Ìgbà náà tí bàbá yẹn bá ń ṣe kinní Ògún, mo mọ̀ pé 1948 ni wọ́n bí Barrister. So ìgbà tó wà bíi 3 years tí àwọn bàbá rẹ̀ bá ti ń ṣe kinní Ògún, wọ́n á ṣe àgbàdo, ẹ̀wà, nǹkan gbogbo tí wọ́n ń ṣe yẹn, àwa ọmọdé la máa kó jẹ, àwa ọmọ Agbájé. So a ti wọra, kò tiẹ̀ sí béèyàn bá ti rí òun náà pàápàá, ẹ bá wò ó dáadáa, ẹ rí i pé a fẹ́ tún àjọra bákan. Tó ti yé yín?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ẹ rí i pé àjọra. So bí tiẹ̀ ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn, ṣùgbọ́n bàbá ẹ̀ gangan tí mo mọ̀ torí 1948 ni wọ́n bí. Ó ní ayẹyẹ ń bẹ̀ náà ọ̀nà ibi tí wọ́n la títì sí gan ni ilé wọn ń gbà náà ilé tiwa sì kọ́kọ́ wà ní ilé Àríwágá yẹn láti kọ́ ilé mansion yẹn.
ẹ já sọ díẹ̀ nípa bàbá tó ń jẹ́ Sàlámì Àgbájé tó jẹ́ ògbóǹtarìgì ṣòwòṣòwò ọlọ́rọ̀ olówó oníbùrùjí
ẹni tó lówó jù ń bàdàn nígbà kan.
tó ní owó jù ń bàdàn nígbà kan. ẹ bá bàbá náà.
Èmi gan-an ni ojú wọn nígbà tí mo wà ní kékeré. Ṣé ẹ rí bàbá, ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ báyìí, bàbá Àgbájé jẹ́ èèyàn pàtàkì kan tí Ọlọ́run dá ẹ̀dá Ọlọ́run máa ń wo àwọn èèyàn dá yàtọ̀ ni. Ṣé ẹ rí pé Barrister náà àkàndá èèyàn kan ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ọlọ́run dá yàtọ̀ ni. Àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn Ọlọ́run ló ń gbé wọn jáde. Bàbá Àgbájé wọ́n ti jẹ́ olókìkí nìbàdàn tipẹ́tipẹ́. Bàbá wọn Ìṣẹ́yìn ni wọ́n ní bàbá Àgbájé. Àti kékeré wọ́n ti wà nìbàdàn àti kú. In fact àwọn ni wọ́n represent Ìbàdàn gbogbo Western region àtijọ́ àbí Ọ̀yọ́ province ní Bodilon assembly tí wọ́n ṣe ní ọdún yẹn. That was ó ti pẹ́ gan 19 bóyá around bóyá 29 or so, I don't know, I can't remember.
So olóṣèlú ni bàbá náà.
Ṣé mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ti jẹ́ olókìkí tó sì jẹ́ onímọ̀ kò sí bí ó ṣe ní ṣe òṣèlú. And then olóyè ìlú sì ni wọ́n. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan ni bàbá yìí ti ṣe ló ṣe nìbàdàn. Àwọn ní wọ́n influence Màpó tí wọ́n kọ́ yẹn. Bàbá ló jẹ́ kí wọ́n kọ́ Màpó.
Nínú ìtàn nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí àti ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ó wà lákọọ́lẹ̀ àwọn àgbàlagbà tó mọ̀ nígbà yẹn dẹ̀ ṣì mọ̀ and they are still very much alive, sir.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Wọ́n jẹ́ kó yé wa wípé ẹ̀yin ni ẹni náà tó fọ́ọ̀mù band kan. Band ọ̀hún tó kó àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké jọ.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Tí wọ́n ń play fún àwọn ìjọba government functionaries and gbogbo àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Kí lorúkọ band yẹn gbà yẹn?
The Freshers Band ni. Freshers
Band.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Lorúkọ band náà.
Lorúkọ band yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n kó tó di pa The Freshers a ti kọ́kọ́ fọ́ọ̀mù band yẹn ní 1967 as Freshmen. Freshmen dance band.
67 àbí?
67 lèmi débẹ̀ tí mo wá lead band yẹn o.
Ṣé Highlife band ni àbí Juju band?
Highlife band ni o. Highlife pop gbogbo ẹ̀ là ń play jazz.
Ta ló ní Freshmen band?
Freshmen band. Ní time tèmi débẹ̀ kí n tó débẹ̀ Káyọ̀dé Dòsùnmú ti kọ́kọ́ lead Freshmen yẹn. Ìgbà tí èmi dé láti East.
Káyọ̀dé Dòsùnmú, ẹ má bínú bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń sọ àwọn nǹkan kan màá máa dá yín padà sẹ́yìn díẹ̀díẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Káyọ̀dé Dòsùnmú ṣe rẹ́kọ̀dù kan mi ò rántí bóyá 1982 àbí 78. Rẹ́kọ̀dù yẹn wọ́n ṣe sábẹ́ Lakayana Records. Àwọn wá kọ jùjú tí wọ́n ní ìlànà tó yàtọ̀ sí jùjú tá a mọ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Nínú iṣẹ́ ìwádìí tí mo ṣe, ọmọ bàbá Àyìndé Bákàrè, bàbá Ṣínà Bíọ́dún Bákàrè, wọ́n ní àwọn làwọn fi ọwọ́ Káyọ̀dé Dòsùnmú léjì. Wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ń gbà náà.
Mo wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ààrẹ gbogbo alájọ wà bá dán.
Ìlú wo ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀?
Jùjú.
No, ìlú wo ni
ìyẹn ti ṣẹlẹ̀?
Ẹ ti jọ play papọ̀.
Ìbàdàn bí náà ni gbogbo ala play fẹ́ di Okonta. Káyọ̀dé Dòsùnmú play pẹ̀lú Easy Life Top Beats. Kémi ò tó tún wá kémi ìgbà yẹn nígbà tó ń play pẹ̀lú easy laptop bass yẹn èmi ń play pẹ̀lú èmi ń lead by Freshmen.
ó dẹ̀ já ṣe báyìí ká tó lọ sínú bí freshers àti freshmen ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí ni nǹkan tó expose yín sí Highlife music? One. Number two, why Highlife music? Why not Juju music or even Sakara music or even Fuji music?
Gbogbo àwọn yẹn wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dé ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní tó gbogbo ètò ẹ̀ mention yẹn wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dé ní nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ ni pé
Juju ti wà tipẹ́ o.
àwọn tó ti wà tipẹ́ ń bẹ̀.
Sakara ti wà tipẹ́ o.
Sakara ti wà tipẹ́. Sakara ṣe mọ̀ pé nínú Sakara anyway lónìí n ó sọ àwọn kankan fún yín. Ṣé ẹ rí kó tó di pé àwọn bàbá wa ti ń play Sakara o kó tó di pé àwọn òyìnbó gan dé torí àwọn kinní kan wà tí wọ́n ń pè ní kákàdìkà. Kákàdìkà.
Okay.
Èso ní jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n bá lù lórí tí wọ́n bá lù wọ́n ó wọ gbogbo èso tó wà nú ẹ̀ kúrò. Kinní yẹn dàbí agbè kékeré báyìí. Ó dàbí agbè kákàdìkà yẹn ó dàbí agbè. Tí wọ́n bá ti lù lórí yẹn tí wọ́n wọ gbogbo kóró nú ẹ̀ kúrò wọ́n ó wá rọ ìdù sínú tàbí òkúta wẹ́wẹ́. Wọ́n ó ti fi okùn sí níbí wọ́n ó fi okùn sí lọ́nà ìkejì wọ́n máa fi ọwọ́ lù
ibẹ̀ ló ti derive orúkọ ẹ̀.
ní kákàdìkà ibi tí ó ti jẹ́ kákàdìkà nìyẹn. Wọ́n ti ń lò yẹn lọ́jọ́ tó ti pẹ́ torí gbogbo around 52 tí mo wà lófìkè àwọn là ń lò àwọn sì ti ń lò láti 20s and something.
Níta ẹ sọ nípa kákàdìkà yìí a lè relate ẹ̀ mọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ jùjú tí wọ́n sọ pé ìtàn ẹ̀ ní tambourine tí wọ́n ń jù sókè.
Tambourine yẹn bí samba ni tambourine yẹn samba ni tí wọ́n ń pè ní jùjú gan Juju. Àwọn kinní ni àwọn Portuguese. Àwọn ni wọ́n gbé yẹn wá tó ń play àwọn different types of English music. Tango, calypso, nǹkan àwọn English music ìgbà náà àwọn lèmi kọ́kọ́ grow mọ́. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé irú ilé ọmọ tó dàgbà sí irú ilé agbájé àwọn bàbá wa enlightened so irú àwọn nǹkan báyìí ti wà. Àwọn lèmi tí kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ music wọn yẹn àwọn rẹ́kọ̀dù wọn.
Gramophone láyé ọjọ́ yẹn àbí.
Gramophone tí wọ́n fi ọwọ́ ṣe alájá tí wọ́n ṣe ajá sí báyìí tá a máa ń fi ọwọ́ wine. Gbogbo àwọn rẹ́kọ̀dù tí wọ́n play ń gbà yẹn òun ni àwọn English music wọ̀nyí. I play bolero, pachanga, tango, nǹkan àwọn calypso, waltz, blues, nǹkan àwọn music táwọn people yẹn ń play mambo. Ibẹ̀ náà ni Highlife ti dìde bí ara àwọn music yẹn ni Highlife ti dìde.
Àwọn genres of music tẹ mention ní ìsìn bolero, cha-cha-cha, pachanga gbogbo foreign beat ni wọ́n àbí.
Borrowed beat ni wọ́n. Borrowed ni.
Láti òkè òkun Portugal.
Àwọn Portuguese. Àwọn Brazilians nǹkan náà gbogbo wọn àwọn music tó ń play ni.
Òun náà ń pè ní ballroom music àbí.
Ballroom music.
Irú èyí tí Bobby Benson.
Bobby Benson náà fi grow nìyẹn.
So ibo wá ni Highlife yẹn ti wá dìde.
Highlife ibi tó ti dìde ni pé tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá máa jó àwọn music wọ̀nyí ẹ̀ ń láti jó pẹ̀lú partner ni. Tí ó ti yẹ yín ẹ̀ ń láti jó pẹ̀lú ẹnìkan obìnrin kan tó jẹ́ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń jó yẹn náà ẹlòmíì tó bá tún mọ̀ irú ijó yẹn jó òun náà tún excuse yín pé kẹ́ ìjọ kẹ́
excuse me dance
bí ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tó dé stage kan ní Ghana ní Mensah ló wá ń wò pé irú music wo làwọn individuals lè jó tó jẹ́ pé nígbà tí wọ́n bá ti mú nǹkan tán tí wọ́n á ṣàfẹ́ jó ijó tiẹ̀ òun nìkan á fẹ́ jó láwọn tí wọ́n bá ti mutí tí wọ́n ti wà on top of their gbogbo ẹ̀. So ibi tí Highlife ti wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn.
So can we say that
Highlife gangan kọ́ ló kọ́kọ́ sọ.
Okay.
Ló kọ́kọ́ pé Ozoe ló pé ní ẹ rí i pé Bonzoe Ozoe ló kọ́kọ́ pé gangan dance Bonzoe dance Ozoe. So but àwọn òyìnbó ò lè pe Ozoe yẹn ló fi wá pè ní Highlife ló wá change ẹ̀ sí Highlife, that is when you are high, at the top of your
when you are high with spirits,
when you are high,
liquor and all that. Now, sir, can we now say that Chief Segun Ojo said E.T. Mensah is the founder of Highlife music?
No doubt, that is it. E.T. Mensah is the founder of Highlife music.
And Highlife music is owned by Ghana.
By Ghana. And that is why most of you will see the reflection of Ghana's Highlife tune in most Nigerian musicians' Highlife.
Mm.
So most of the songs played in Ghana sometimes are translated into, even when you see like music like Roy Chicago's music. Some of Roy Chicago's music you will detect the tune is from Ghana.
From Ghana.
So also is Adeolu's music.
Okay.
And most
now,
of
did you meet E.T. Mensah at all?
I met him first in 1956 at the University College Ibadan. Yes.
What happened then? Can you take us back in time?
He came to play at the Havana, and himself and Dr. Victor Laya, they were the two bands that came to play. It was at Havana. I met him at Havana. And then I was so close, you know, most of the songs that were played then, I had known them.
Have you been into music before then?
I had not been into music, but I listened to records so much that I knew most of the songs of
E.T. Mensah.
E.T. Mensah.
And Dr. Victor Laya.
And Dr. Victor Laya. Well, in 1957, I remember also meeting him with they brought Roy Chicago. Roy Chicago was then, I think it was then in Ibadan too, before it was engaged to play with E.T. Mensah.
So Roy Chicago at the time played with E.T. Mensah?
Yes.
As a vocalist?
They played together.
Okay, opposite each other? Or
no,
on the same
one
stage?
one was at the Trenchard Hall.
Okay.
And the other one was at the Tower Court. So that was the way they operated.
Now, at that time, did you speak with either of Victor Laya or E.T. Mensah?
They were all my friends. E.T. Mensah wanted to take me to Ghana 2 times. He saw that I could sing most of his songs. And then I would sit by his side. So also was Olaya. Now, when E.T. Mensah wanted to take me to Ghana, I had agreed to follow him to Ghana. But when it was done, after playing, I started thinking of my parents. They'll be worried, they'll be looking for me. So I had to run to the Tower Court, to the tower, to the top of the tower. I had to go and hide there. But when it came again, I think that was either 58 or 59. It came again. Then, immediately he saw me, he wanted to take me away again. And he even bought a whole chicken for me, and then about 3 bottles of soft drink. So that I sat with him. But when it was done also and they were to go, hey, I became afraid again that, hey, my parents, because I was always thinking of my parents.
At that time, it was an usual thing for young kids
We were,
who are passionate about music to run away from home,
yes,
and their parents would be looking for them for months or years before eventually realizing that they had followed a
it
bigger
really,
artist.
honestly, Mensah really wanted to go and train me.
So, how did you get trained in music, and what was the first instrument?
I got trained as uh, I got trained through some bands. At first, my father had to buy a trumpet for me.
Okay, so you started with the trumpet.
I started with a trumpet.
Who taught you on the trumpet?
Um, and Mr. Adekoya of the Easy Life tour beats. He was the trumpeter there. You will know that man. Abim Adekoya. He played last with Balamila
Okay.
in the north. So he led Balamila's band in the north. I don't know if he's still alive or dead, but he so much loved me because their band, since I started going to watch them at Easy Life, and then
Where was Easy Life located then in Ibadan?
Easy Life was located at the present place they call Uncle Joe,
Oh, Uncle
Mokola.
Joe. Okay, that was where Easy Life was.
That was where Easy Life was.
So you were playing
Owned
gigs every
by,
night,
they were playing every night.
and you were with them every night.
When I started learning, I was not playing with them. I will come, I will watch them. The following day, I will practice my trumpet. Sometimes I will go back home.
How easy was the trumpet for you? Because I understand that you need a lot of energy, and in fact, you need a lot of food before you can blow the trumpet.
It was the first day he gave it to me. He gave the trumpet to me. He just wanted to put me to test. He said I should blow the trumpet. He just gave me the trumpet and said I should blow it. And when I made, it did not sound, the trumpet did not sound. Then, but I remember at school, if people were in the toilet, it was there were pipes behind the toilet. We would go and blow the pipe so that the person inside would run out.
Okay.
So I now remember that you will cause vibration into the pipe. And it will drive that person out.
So you use that same
So I now use that technique. And it was shocked. He said, for the first time, you are able to sound the trumpet. I said, yes. And that was it. Now, it wrote the notes for me and everything. Okay.
So you learned music and sight reading informally?
Yes. Yes. Then I was lucky to have one Britain at international school. He was a teacher there who now scored the whole of my trumpet notes for me. He scored everything for me, and so I started perfecting my notes on the trumpet.
Now you are about to mention the owner of Easy Life Hotel at that time.
The owner of Easy Life was Mr. Nwosu.
Okay.
Mr. Nwosu.
Was it the same Nwosu which
Bola Johnson
sang for?
Nwosu. I've forgotten the pam pam re mi fa re la do ti mi re mi fa re la do ti do. Nwosu something like that.
All right. So after you picked the trumpet and you became a master in it, which other instruments did you pick, or you lobbied to play for a band, for another band?
It was when I went to the East because I was too anxious to go to meet several bands.
Why the East? Were there no bands in the West? You mentioned Easy Life Tobbit, and I'm sure there were so
There
many
were
other
all
bands. And
there
in fact,
was
some of those people you saw then as role models and mentors, like Victor Laya. Victor Laya was in Lagos. Why not Victor Laya? Why did you choose the East?
Let me tell you one thing. I wrote application. Victor Laya, I was very, very close to him because each time he came to play at the university at Havana, he would be looking for me at the gate. His trumpet was always my ticket to go in.
Okay.
So immediately he came down, he would look around and say, Segunda. Because I had been so close to him, I knew all the names of his musicians, like Tex Olua, this tenorist. He also played with me in Ibadan here after. Sifolosin.
Okay.
Sifolosin.
I think he mentioned Sivolosin in one of his singles.
Yes, Sifolosin. Nika Gonayo. Nika Gonayo. All of them. Brother Connie was the guitarist then. Akoni. Perhaps he traveled overseas because I didn't hear of him again for a very long time. It was later all the rest, all the new guitarists.
So you applied to Victor Laya.
I applied to Victor Laya. I applied to Roy Chicago. I applied to one other.
You didn't apply.
Ikedairo.
Okay, you applied to Ikedairo.
You
didn't apply to Dele Ojo.
But they didn't answer me.
What about Dele Ojo?
No, I didn't apply to.
But Dele Ojo was already performing at that time.
Dele Ojo at that time, no. It was after Rex Williams left Olaya that Dele Ojo, because Rex Williams led Olaya's second band before. It was after that Dele Ojo now went to Lagos, because Dele Ojo wasn't around then. But later, I think he went to Lagos and then took over the second band of Victor Laya.
Okay.
So
was he a leader with Victor Laya, or was he a trumpeter with Victor Laya?
He was a trumpeter. He was a trumpeter. He was second trumpeter.
Second trumpeter for the second set or for the main band?
For the main band.
Okay, Victor Laya.
But later,
okay,
he moved to lead the second band.
Okay.
Before he now came to Ibadan. It was in Lagos.
That was 1963.
Yes, before he came to Ibadan.
So you are talking about 1962 or 63 now, when you wrote applications to Ikedairo, Victor Laya, Chicago, and all the other ones.
Yes.
All the other ones.
But suddenly, I was at Bosa School.
As a student?
In 63. That's 63.
As a student?
As a student.
Okay.
Yes. But because of my incessant accidents, I had to opt out. I had to stop because I was riding a bicycle to Bosa School from UI. From UI, because UI became UI, I think around 62 or so.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It used to be UCI, University College Ibadan. So when I left school, because each time I was late to school, something used to happen. I would be forced to carry 30 blocks. Bricks. But each time later changed. If I got late, instead of carrying these blocks or bricks, I would go back to Paradise, where Eddie will be practicing.
Paradise Club.
So
Eddie was the in-house artist at Paradise Club.
Paradise Club.
Now, where was Paradise Club then?
Okay, Bola where you now have the Glass House.
That's Femi Johnson's Glass House.
Yes, that's Glass House.
Okay.
Femi Johnson's Glass House.
Okay.
That was where Paradise was, and it was the hottest spot in Ibadan then.
Eddie Okonta.
Yes.
Who are the artists with him then?
Eddie Okonta, at that time, he had artists like Papa J on the guitar.
Papa J later played for Adeolu.
Yes.
He played guitar for Adeolu.
They all formed the band together, the Fabro All Stars.
So it was not Adeolu's band?
It was not Adeolu's band.
The band that sang Bimo Laya Tí Ó Lè Ṣọ̀yàyà Kò Lè Bá Mi Gbélé.
That was later.
Okay, that was later.
Yes, that was recorded later. Well, the one they brought from Lagos, from the Jofabro Star Aces, was this song. No, not that.
There was one where Papa J sang Àdùkẹ́ lórúkọ mi sá ó
that was at Western Toppers Band.
That's different from Jofabro again.
They're different from Jofabro Star Aces.
Wow.
Jofabro Aces formed the band, and Eddie Okonta was the leader.
Jofabro was originally a record promoter and record label.
That was why they named the band Jofabro Star Aces.
Okay.
Now, Saliba gave them a contract at the Paradise Club in Ibadan.
Who is Saliba? Who was Saliba?
Saliba was the proprietor of Paradise Hotel in Ibadan.
Okay.
He formed. He brought the band from Lagos. Adeolu was the vocalist. Papa J was a guitarist. Eddie Okonta's guitarist.
Okay.
There were others. Akombi was there.
Akombi Moses.
Who
later played for Sonny Ade and Orlando Julius.
Yes. Akombi was there. You know, Akombi was Eddie Okonta's man. Even till death, he was Eddie Okonta's man. He could play with any other person, but he was Eddie Okonta's man. Before Eddie Okonta had that accident. So, in other words, the Fabro Star Aces from the band, and then they got a contract of £150 with Saliba at Paradise Club.
So they had to shift their allegiance from Jofabro to Saliba.
No, they didn't change
the name.
They only, when they got here, it was later Eddie Okonta changed it to Eddie Okonta and his top aces and his Star Aces. Was it Star Aces or something? And it's Aces band.
Sorry, I want to get something clear. Adeolu was not part of the Saliba team.
Adeolu was there as a vocalist.
So Adeolu at the time played with Eddie Okonta.
With Eddie Okonta, he was Eddie Okonta's vocalist.
So you are okay. So now we can conclude
Papa J was there.
Adeolu played as a band member for Eddie Okonta.
Eddie Okonta, yes. Okay. Because he went to Ghana to train as a vocalist.
Adeolu
was
he into any instruments? Did he play any instrument?
Adeolu didn't play an instrument too.
He majored only on the vocals. Was he a fantastic composer?
He was a fantastic composer. He would compose. Adeolu was a real composer. That was why I went to Ghana to learn now. Went to Ghana, met with Mensah them. You know, most of these people, most of our instrumentalists in Nigeria, they trained in Ghana, like Papa Bangboshe, Dele Bangboshe, who was the best tenorist in Nigeria. You know, most of them went into either the military in Ghana or the police band, either military band or police band. E.T. Mensah himself was a police, led the police band.
Was he a police officer?
He was.
Okay.
He was. So
can we rate E.T. Mensah above Olaiya in the area of genre creation? That's a tough one, right?
I must be sincere to you. Mensah was the main man. He was the main man. They learned from him.
They learned from him.
He was the creator of Highlife music. And if you listen to Ghanaian music, you will see that there's always a gap between the Ghanaian band and the Nigerian band. It was later that Rex Lawson brought this Ijaw traditional feelings into Highlife music. So they sold native guitars. Though we had the native guitar bands in Ghana, and from them we copied most of these things and then we translated them into our own version of music. Most of Ghanaian numbers, Midowu, 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 Auntie Mary, Midowu, 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 Auntie Mary, Midowu. Bòlúwa bá ṣe tí mo bímọ tèmi, máa fi fẹ́ hàn sí ìyàwó mi. Bòlúwa bá ṣe tí mo bímọ pìnrin, máa fi fẹ́ hàn sí ọmọ mi. Máa fi sọ fún pé fìwàjọ mi, fìwàjọ mi, fìwàjọ mi ìwọ ọmọ mi.
That's from Chicago.
Yes, that's Midowu from Midowu.
Okay.
You see, a lot of songs like that. And even this song, tí Papa kọ, Papa Fatai, this popular song. It was a Ghanaian tune.
What carries number?
What carries number? It has that Ghana reflection is there. Ghana number, there's a number played like that. It was copied from that tune. So most Nigerians, Highlife musicians, copied all these things. But one thing with Nigerians that other people respect is that we are fast knowledge. Nigerian musicians are fast knowledge. No matter what, we are always eager to learn fast. And so when you look at, when you say Juju band, when they started, it was one guitar band now.
One guitar band?
One guitar.
You mean Highlife artists or Juju artists?
Juju band.
Okay, let's not go into how Juju became a mainstream genre in Nigeria.
Yes.
Let's focus on the Highlife music which you played initially.
Yes.
Now, you were talking about Paradise Club, where Eddie Okonta was leading the Saliba constituted band.
Yes.
Am I still right?
Yes.
Good. And you said in that band we had the likes of late Akombi Moses. We had Adeolu Akinsoya.
Skido.
Okay, we had Skido. Yeah, Baba Sekiru.
Skido played after this Congaris left. The Ghanaian Congaris that played for Eddie Okonta at that time. After he left for Chris Agilo's band at Ganga Night Club, Skido took over. And it was that Congaris that played the popular Oriwo solo.
Okay, Oriwo by
Oriwo. Come on, man. Chico.
That's the name.
The name of the Ghanaian Congaris of Eddie Okonta.
Okay.
Eddie Okonta will leave both Chico and Akombi
to do percussions.
On the percussion, and they will play solo for 1 hour. That's each time.
They are allowed to
yes,
to freestyle.
They will go for a break.
Okay. So they'll be on percussion alone.
They will. Once we sounded Oriwo, we are going to play 7 songs on Oriwo. Then after which we will leave them, and they will play until people were tired. They will play for 1 hour.
Now, did you apply to be a member of that band,
Eddie Okonta's
Eddie
band.
Okonta's band?
No.
So how did you join Eddie Okonta?
I joined Eddie Okonta from the Freshmen.
Oh, okay. So when did you join the Freshman band? Because you said you learned the trumpet, and immediately after you were fine on the trumpet, then you applied to some bands and you were not taken in, so you had to join the Paradise Club based band.
No, not so suddenly.
Okay.
It was after I left for the East in 1964. I left for the East because I was eager to learn more. I was eager to learn, and I wanted some big bands. Fortunately, when I got to Onitsha, I went to meet one of my friends who was the Guitarist of Highlife top bass before he now went to play with Erasmus January at Mayor's Hotel, where Rex Lawson was before. And then I joined them with Bade Omishore on the guitar, fantastic guitarist, and then King Pago, that shortest man.
Yeah, King Pago, yeah.
I met them, and they were like parents to me.
At what point did you join Rex Williams?
Rex Williams, it was when I came back. No, at first, I joined Rex Williams in 1964.
In Ibadan?
Yes, in Ibadan. What happened is this. We took an audition at the School of Drama, University College, University of Ibadan. That was the first audition the School of Drama had. And then, after all said and done, I felt I was not interested in drama. So I now told both Sister Peggy Harper and Mr. Axworthy, I told them I was not interested in drama because I had my trumpet with me, and I acted alongside Demola Onibokuta.
Okay.
We both acted a play, but I was not interested. I said music was my something. So I now told both of them that I was going to play. I was not interested in drama. I was going to play orchestral music. And Segun Ojo was standing with us. Then Segun Ojo said, if that is it, he had a program that day. His program he was presenting then was Music Box.
That's on Radio Nigeria?
No, WNTV, WNBS.
Okay.
He was presenting Music Box. So he told me to come to the station with him. And at that time, we were all copying Boda Wole Soyinka.
All this was when was this before you traveled to the East?
Before I traveled to the East.
Okay. Segun Ojo
was presenting Music Box
or WNTV.
On the
but
WNTV.
I know the Segun Ojo as an Afro beat artist.
Segun Ojo as an Afro beat artist, musician or what?
Yes, musician.
I don't know if he also went to play music, but he was a presenter at WNTV, WNBS at that time.
At that time, okay.
Yes, before you, we had people like Tunji Marquis and
was it the time of Alex Conde? Or
Alex Conde too?
Okay.
It was after Segun Ojo. Tunji Marquis. After Tunji Marquis, Alex Conde took over. After Alex Conde, there were was it Juju Adegbite or there was somebody behind him? Azubike.
Okay.
Azubike. Then Juju Adegbite, and then some others.
Were there more Highlife artists in the East than the Western region at that time?
Let me tell you something. anybody who played music in Nigeria who did not play in Ibadan will not agree he was a good musician.
So why did you leave Ibadan for the East?
Because I wanted to learn more.
So why can't you learn more in Ibadan? Because you just said it now that if you want to play music and you don't learn in Ibadan, then you are not learning anything.
It is true, but not every band I knew at that time, and I wanted a change. And the Easterners were more into Highlife than every other.
That's my question. Do we have more Easterners in Highlife
Yes,
than Western region
yes.
musicians?
You had the Calabars. The Calabars were originally playing brass bands all along, right from very long time.
Is brass band not the same or almost the same as Highlife?
But brass band is like what our children call what do they call them now? Playing without you play just brass instruments like the trumpet, saxophones, trombones, and so on.
Without vocals or with vocals?
Without vocals.
But with some percussion, right?
With sometimes with percussion. And that was where somebody like Roy Chicago too learned when he was at Warri. All of them, most of our musicians learned from the East too. So I knew it was because I also met some bands earlier from the East, like Erasmus January when he came to play. I met him. I met Rex Lawson. I met so many of them. Arrows Band, Stephen Amechi, Eddie Okonta, and then Chief Billy Friday. Billy Friday from Ghana, but he was one of the leading bands in Nigeria then.
Okay. All right. Before you share your East experience with us, I want to seek your pardon for an information I gave earlier, which was quite misleading. Segun Ojo was not into Afrobeat. He actually did some works with Tunji Oyelano.
So that is it. That's one thing. Tunji Oyelano, Jimmy Sholanke, myself, my elder brother Tunde Ojo, we were all together. We were all always dressed in this Ibirakente with this Jolo Jolo thing.
Which one is what is the English of Jolo Jolo?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know it.
I understand. I understand.
All of us at that time, because we were copying Boda Wole Soyinka, it showed us into this acting something. Now, when I led the Freshmen, and I was with and I moved to Eddie Okonta's band. It was this same band that Juju now took over. It was my band that took over.
Which of the bands?
The same Freshmen.
Freshmen.
With all my boys, because he had a brother, his own brother. It was his own brother from Abeokuta too, who was with me. He was playing bass for me. So most of the boys, he co-opted them, and they formed their band. Even if I came to the to the hotel, Tuji would not want to play because he thought I would copy his songs, and he was fond of copying my own song. He would copy my own songs, so I traced many of my songs to most of them.
But at that time, Highlife artists were not known to be embittered if anyone copies their music.
For us, professionals, We never bothered our heads because at that time, what would that mean to you? You compose a song. For instance, Eddie Epifanio, his first album, he played with me. He copied all my songs. All the songs in his first album were my songs. I never knew. After practicing with me, we would practice till 6 o'clock because he had a ladder car at that time. He would go. I never knew he was going to record with Angela Bodeni.
And the Angela studio was in Ibadan then?
Angela Bodeni was there. It's still there.
Oh, the studio is still there?
Angela?
No, Angela Bodeni's studio. Is it still functional?
It's still functional.
Okay. So Epifanio's recordings were in Ibadan here then?
Epifanio was in Ibadan.
Oh, he lived in Ibadan?
He lived in Ibadan.
Oh, okay.
So we were all, he would practice with me in the morning. We would practice till 6 o'clock because if we started practice, I used to be very, very tough in practice. If we started at 9 o'clock, if you don't eat before 9 o'clock and we started practicing, we will not eat till 6 o'clock.
Was Epifanio a total artist? Or a total artist, like an artist that plays this instrument, the other instrument, a fine vocalist and all that? Was he a proper band leader, or he was just passionate about music?
He was passionate about music because he was passionate about music. I never saw him lead a live band.
Okay. So he never played with any live band?
He played with me.
Live?
And that's all I knew about him.
Live?
Live.
Okay. But he had some recordings?
He now would go and record. He started recording. And when I started hearing these songs, I became all the songs are very familiar. I'm very familiar with all these songs until I came to realize later that I listened to one of my songs there. Then I said, yay, let us do. Then I said, so at that time, because I never saw him again for a very long time. It was later. I met him at the National Theatre. It was after greeting me and said, but I played with you before. And when we were playing this song, and then I said, so you are Epifanio. That is it. Now.
So you mean you didn't know him as Epifanio then?
I didn't know his name.
His name. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know him as Epifanio.
Epifanio. May God rest his soul. Now,
yes, he's dead.
Let's talk about your East experience briefly, and why did you leave the East? Were you chased by some women?
Let me tell you something. When I left Ibadan, that was the first time I was going in 1964. My father gave me £1.5, and the transport from Malete to Asaba was £1.5.
Just the same accurate amount.
And from Asaba to cross with the ferry was 6 pence. I didn't have 6 pence extra. I didn't have anything to eat. That was the only money I had. But determined to go, I went to Malete, where we took buses going to the east.
Did you travel alone?
I traveled alone now. Who will go with me? I had my trumpet, and so I was going to meet Apollo.
How old were you then?
I was 1964. I was 19.
19.
Yes.
So a 19-year-old boy traveling from Malete, Ibadan.
Yes.
To somewhere very far away that I've never, even up to now, I've never been there.
So when I got to Malete, I just went to one driver. I told him I wanted to go to the east to go and play music, but I haven't got enough money. My father gave me only £1.5, and out of this £1.5, I had taken a transport from UI to Malete. I had spent 1 and 6.
That's 1 shilling 6 pence.
6 pence. Then he told me to go and sit down. I just sat down somewhere. And after loading, we had to travel at night. He now called me to come to the front to sit by his side. So I sat by his side. The Easterners loved musicians. And when we got to Ore, he said I should come down. Then he bought food for me. The kind of that I had never singularly eaten before. He bought it for me. And still bought one bottle of soft drink for me. And when we got to Benin again, that was when I knew from Ibadan to Ore. At that time was 73 miles. From Ore to Benin, 73 miles also. And from Ore to Asaba, 73 miles.
From Ibadan to Ore.
73 miles.
Yes.
Then from Ore to Benin, 73 miles.
Okay.
From Benin to Asaba again, another 73 miles. At that time. So we got there. I didn't spend the money with me. So I kept the money. And when I got to Asaba and then crossed to Onitsha. Then I met my partner. And then met with Badiomi Shure. And then King Pago, Apollo and others. I was staying with Apollo. But one thing happened. At that time, musicians would smoke hemp. So if you were not a smoker, you will be threatened.
But you need that ginger.
You
need the vibe. Because you are playing like every day, non-stop.
Yes.
So you need something to keep you afloat.
Yes.
So nobody will beat you for partaking in the communion of Igbo.
But I was a new person and a young guy just from secondary school. So there was this day, the boys forced me. They said I just had to take this thing with them.
That's hemp.
And I was crying. I said no. Now they forced me to take it. After taking it, as God will do it, we had no food in the house. And I couldn't breathe. I was just saying, Then I didn't know what to do. So there was one Yoruba woman selling food. We used to keep our key with her. So I went to her. When she saw me, the way I was breathing, she said, Apollo, olórí burúkú yóò pa mí ọmọ fún mi, yóò pa mí lọ́mọ, because the woman liked me so much. Tètè, ó yá wá gbóúnjẹ. She gave me food. She gave me that food. And from that day, I got determined that never in my life. So I refused to take hemp. Then they got one guitarist. One day, they just brought another guitarist. When they went to the practice, we had just finished playing. Then I went to sleep. Then this guitarist just came to me and said, he just woke me up. Old boy. Go and buy me gem. I just looked at his face. I said, what? Is that why you've come to wake me up? He said, you should get out. And he went back and reported me to the others. So I was not there with them. When Apollo came in, he said, Mbo, you abused our new guitarist. They said, because I wanted to drive away their new guitarist, that I should leave the quarters given to Apollo. And meanwhile, Apollo was given the room. He only bought a mattress. When I came, we bought chairs with my money because I was keeping my own money. He was smoking hemp. I was keeping my money. But thank God, I had one Mrs. Odua. This same Odua family. I used to, if I had money, once I was given money, I would go and keep money with Mama. So I had about £9 with Mama, Mrs. Odua, because we lived together at UI. She was their grandmother, the grandmother of this Stella Odua. So I used to save money with her. So that day, before then, Dansach came to Onitsha.
Who is Dansach?
Dansach was a band leader at Enugu.
Okay.
He was a band leader at Enugu. Then he saw me practicing.
Trumpets?
Yes, trumpet. Okay. Because he too was a trumpeter.
Okay.
And he had played with, even he played in Akwanda for Erasmus January. He was the one that played the trumpet solo there. Sorry for lot of something like that. He played the solo there in Akwanda Bari Ibiya, Akwanda Bari Ibiya, Akwanda Burundaba, Akwanda Bari Ibiya, Akwanda Pakiolo Dango, Akwanda no want you again, Akwanda oh, Akwanda, why you know the same? He played the trumpet on that song. So when he came and saw me, he said I should come and meet him at Enugu. So fortunately, when that happened, Apollo just came in and said I abused their guitarist. They said I should leave their quarters. He was just playing. He never knew. He knew we hadn't any money at hand that day. He hadn't anything. I hadn't anything. But we had food in the house. Quite all right. Because we used to buy food. But immediately he left. I said, so because of hemp, I just packed my load. I didn't touch any other thing. All the things I bought there, I left everything for Apollo. I didn't touch anything.
So you left for Enugu?
I left for Enugu.
So how many months did you spend with Apollo?
I think I had spent about, it would be about 4 to 6 months. About 4 to 6 months.
So before.
So I now left for Enugu.
So okay, when you get to Enugu, how many months do you spend at Enugu?
I was at Enugu till, I think I was at Enugu till around December, yes, exactly, December, because when I came on the 23rd of December, Rex William was to go and play at School of, at Apata, something at Greek.
Okay.
I had to go and play because for the 24th Christmas Eve.
So you came back that same year from the East?
I came that year, 1964.
64. Did you learn any instruments in the East? Apart
from that, when I got to Enugu, I met this other guy who later played with Fela. It was a Beanie boy. He played trumpet for Fela too. So I met him with Dansach. Now Dansach told me to change from trumpet because he was playing trumpet. That guy was playing trumpet also. If I remember his name fully now, I will tell you. He was also playing trumpet. Now, for me to play trumpet also, so he now told me to change to trombone.
Okay.
And immediately, he scored my notes for me, and I started practicing. And in a few days, I was able to play trombone for the band. So I was playing trombone. So, but we were playing at Leisure Hotel. Enugu. We were playing at Leisure Hotel. So, but at a stage, Dancer just decided to go back to Owerri. his home place.
Mm.
So when he left, Mr. Quincy, this elder brother of Soprano
Cyprian,
Quincy,
yeah.
elder brother of Soprano Quincy at Ogui, now wanted me to form a band. I who never knew anything, wanted me to form the band there because he bought the instruments. Ah, I said I never knew much, and then I decided. Well, now what made me to run back was that
To
I
Ibadan.
to Ibadan.
Mm.
Now was that the boy, there was one boy, Abbott. What was his father? Abbott Agunwa. They had their house was close to the hotel, and so I was staying with him. But after playing that day, I think a band came and I played with them. After playing, then I got home and I met some boys with him. Then they didn't allow me. The boys occupied all the chairs. All, the long chair was to sit. I used to sleep on. Then I slept. I just put my head on a small table. The table was about just 2.5 feet or so, or 3 feet. I never knew they came to Bogu, the bookshop that led to that room. I never knew. You know, I was tired, and so I slept there. At a stage, one of them said, "Look, you these people, let this man sleep now." Then Apollo said, "No be of a man."
You're referring to Enugu now.
Yes.
Did Apollo join you in Enugu?
Oh, I said Apollo, Abbott.
Abbott, okay.
I wanted to say Abbott.
Okay.
Abbott. Then that guy said, "Allow this man to sleep now." Then Abbott said, "Let live and jaw, no be suffer man." From deep sleep, I heard that thing. I just got up immediately and I went outside. I went back to leisure. When I sat down there, then the lady came out and saw me and said, "Ah, brother, what happened?" Then I said, "Apollo had some strangers. I never knew they came to Bogu the place." All right. That lady said I should go and sleep in her room. And, you know, I was still young. I never liked the odor of the rooms. So I refused. She begged me and said she was going to sleep in another room. Then when I pretended as if I was going to sleep there, she left for the other room. Then as soon as she left, I came back to sit on the chair. And it was on that chair that I was in the morning when a policeman came to wake me up. Because he had seen my picture inside the house when they were searching. Then he said I should come. But when I got there, immediately I got there, Abbott said, "No, no, 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 no. He's not among us." Then they jailed them 6 months. Immediately I heard that they were jailed.
Just came back to the West. Kojuma Ribi.
I ran back to Ibadan. And immediately I came to Ibadan. I just decided to go back to meet Rex Williams because it was from his band that I left. Because it was his band that I first met when Segun Ojo introduced him to me, because it was the guest artist on that program that day.
Okay.
That Segun Ojo took me to WNTV. Though I'd been acting for school when I did at WNTV, but that was the time I started really. From that time, I never stopped doing things for WNTV, WNBS. I started doing some wonderful presentations.
Let's look at your journey with various bands, starting with the Paradise based club led by.
From Rex Williams.
Okay, we should start from Rex Williams.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
played with Rex
you
Williams.
played the trumpet with Rex
I
Williams.
played trumpet. I later, when I played trumpet with him, I later went back to the East in 1966.
Now, after the East, now you rejoined Rex Williams. Did you record any album with Rex Williams the second time?
No.
After Rex Williams, which band did you join?
I joined from Rex Williams. It was from Rex Williams that I formed the Freshmen.
But you played with Eddie Okonta.
I later played with Eddie Okonta from Freshmen because Akambi came to co-opt me. You know, I was also a bassist. When I went back to the East in 1966,
Okay.
I played at Enugu. I played in 2 hotels with Achike Rogers and Michael Jagger too.
Okay.
I played with them. Before I left, we left Enugu for Abakaliki. And at Abakaliki, it was when the war was about to start. I came back to Ibadan on December 20, 1966. And immediately I came back, the second day, on the 21st December, I decided to go to WNTV. So it was when I called the taxi and told them I was going to WNTV that I met Ayinla Omowura,
Okay.
who held his album.
He came to promote it at WNTV.
He said, then he called me and said, WNTV, he said he was going to WNTV that I should please help him.
Didn't he come in a car?
He didn't come in a car. It was the same. It was the same. You know, this which lives the one he won in that record, his first album. I think maybe his first album or second album. I don't know. Then when we got to WNTV, and I saw Mr. Adigbe and Mr. Epaye.
Nelson Epaye.
Okay. And Mr. Adigbe. Then I introduced him to them. Then they said, you want to call audition phone.
Were you a staff already?
I wasn't. But, you know, that was our constant home now. We had, with the Freshmen, I had so many programs we were doing. I think it was that time that this woman came, Princess Patience. I learned she died of recent. Princess Patience, she was with Miriam Makeba. She used to be with Miriam Makeba in US. She came to Nigeria and we had to back her. It was then she sang Edumare jọ̀ọ́ fún wa ní tàwa bàbá o àǹbẹ̀ o àǹbẹ̀ o Edumare jọ̀ọ́ fún wa ní tàwa. But Victor Wefo had backed her in Lagos.
Okay.
And Victor Wefo was the one that backed her on that record. Then the way we played it, she was also surprised that she said Nigerian musicians are too brilliant that it took them about 2 weeks to practice some songs that we just played within a day, because we had to record 1 hour program for her, 145 minutes, 130 minutes, and 150 minutes.
At that time, was there in your other records already?
In other records was not. In other came up in the 70s now.
So we are talking about late 60s now, 67, 66, 67, right?
67.
What year did you join Eddie Okonta?
I joined it was 1968.
68.
Yes.
So you were with WNTV doing your production thing before you...
Yes, we were doing all these things. And then when, you know, with Rex Williams, after Rex Williams, I still played with Eric Akaize.
In Ibadan here.
Yes, Eric Akaize,
That's the
junior
brother of
brother of
George Akaize,
George Akaize.
the younger brother.
Okay.
Okay.
We played together. It was then, when I came back from the East in '66, I was already a bassist. I could play. I was playing bass. So immediately we were to go and play at the School of Agric. I told Rex Williams to leave fiddle bass because formerly we were using fiddle bass,
Okay.
the big
Giant one.
We were using it. Then I said no, they shouldn't. They should leave that. That I will use the guitar to play the bass. And when we got there and Rex Williams saw me playing the bass, he was surprised. He was so happy. But something happened when we went to form the band at Crisbrook Garden. When we left Mayfair Hotel, then we went to Crisbrook Garden. I didn't know, when the war was on, that Rex Williams and his Calabar brothers, Ukmong was on guitar. There was one Henry on trombone. Oh, was it Henry? Akman on alto sax. All of them, like, they just went to form the army band at Kenji. And Rex Williams just had a new baby, 8 days, from a 16-year-old lady
or girl.
Ijebu girl. So I had to take over helping the child, the lady. I didn't know where they went to until I was on tour with a band in 1969, where I met Rex Williams and the others at Kenji. They were playing the military band. So it's something. Before then, it was after that I joined Eric Akaize. Then from Eric Akaize, I went back to Eddie Okonta. What
about Victor Laya?
Victor Laya, I didn't play with Victor Laya. Why I didn't play with Victor Laya? This, I never saw any of the old members that I knew.
Okay.
Because I will play a band, I will look at how advanced the band was. Because my brain, I could accumulate anything musically, notes. I was too conscious about your phrases.
Now, sir, with all this traversing the west and the south and the east of Nigeria, how come you formed the Freshers Band, and why did you force? I chose my word deliberately there. Why did you force 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds to start playing music, which was quite too heavy for the capacity of a young boy at that time? I'm referring to your children now.
It was when Eddie Okonta's band got dissolved, because many of the musicians left for the army, left for the force.
That was during the Civil War.
Yes. When they left, some of them had gone with Zev Phillips and his Blue Nine. Now the rest of us that were there, Sonny Lionheart, who was also Eddie Okonta's tenorist and singer. He was a very fantastic vocalist. He could sing all these Congo songs because he had played in Congo before.
Sonny Lionheart.
Sonny Lionheart.
Okay.
And he could sing calypso songs very, very well. He was also at one time with the Easy Life Top Beats. So it was at Easy Life they composed, Bola Johnson composed this song. Sonny changed to Marafa Dambaba. That was Sonny Lionheart's. Now Easy Life composed the song as do do la so do mi sa mi re do mi do la so la ti do re mi sa mi re do la so do do. Oh my baby Josephine, why do you tell me lie? Oh my baby Josephine, why do you play me while you do? So you told me you love me, pam pam pam. I gave you all what you want to, baby. You they tell me you go marry me. When you chop all my money finish, you they go. That's Bola Johnson's composition. But it was that is a life they composed it. Now, Sonny Lionheart go to the north, led the army band Azaria, and composed Marafa Dambaba, played the mambo, Hausa mambo.
But yet to get to my question. Once again, I want to ask you, why did you force your children, 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, maybe 8, to start playing music, which was way beyond their capacity at that time? You overloaded them.
No. They came in with interest.
Are you sure?
Yes. For instance, when I started Music on the Wall at NTA in 1980, Goke was about 7.5 then.
That's your first child?
Not first child.
Your first son? No.
Not first son.
Okay.
Now, it was participating on that program. They would come, they were the students I was using. Some people will come from College of Education, Elisha. They will come for the program. I had so many students. And so Goke was always with me there. So I was teaching them music on the television. So he has taken interest. But I think in 1983 or 82, when I formed the Freshmen. I reformed the Freshmen. Then we were playing. Then suddenly one day, one of my artists, one of my bassists, Tony of Padua, I met him in Rex Williams' band with Jimmy Sholanke. We were all there together. He was now the bassist, and we played at Grandstand. And NTA was recording, WTV was recording. Tibola Dedenola led the crew. So it was that day, as we were playing, then I wasn't happy with the way Tony was playing the bass because he was a fiddleist. So he was applying the fiddle bass technique to pick his notes. I was not happy. Then I told him he could come during the day to me at home so that I would give him the table of the notes so that in a few days he could. Then he just dropped the bass and said, "Are you going to teach me this?" And I was annoyed, and I made the announcement that honestly, because of the way he acted, I was annoyed, and I said, "Look, A small boy will take the bass from you in 2 weeks. 2 Saturdays, a small boy will take the bass from you. And you know, Jibola was my closest friend. And immediately I got home, I woke Goke up and I told him, would you like to play the bass? Because the rudimentary aspect of it, he had learned it on the television where we were doing that program. And I said, would you play bass? He said yes. And then I drew the table for him that same night. At about 2:30 or so, or 3 o'clock. I drew it for him. And I said he should start fingering.
Now, you stole his childhood. You stole his sleep. Because you stole his childhood. You stole his sleep just because you wanted to prove a point to someone.
But they went to school. Did they not go to school?
Yeah, they went to school, but at that time, you stole, his childhood because it was really not his thing. He was not ready for it. You made him ready. You enforced him. You made sure he did it so that you will be able to defend your words.
Why was he coming to the lesson when we were on the program we were doing?
Maybe to learn the practicals, maybe not the theory.
He learned the theory.
Or maybe to learn the theory, it's not the practicals.
As a musician, even in our home at Ogbomoso, if you get to our home at Ogbomoso, everybody there is a musician.
All right. At this point, I think I have to bring in your son because he's right there with us here. Sir, please, do you mind joining us? Just sitting behind, beside Baba. Please, okay, thank you. Just sit beside him so you can share his mic. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. No, Lord.
I never knew.
He's been with us for long. All right, sir. You are Baba's, wow, see the semblance. You are Baba's son.
Yes.
He just referred to you as Goke just now. When that night when he woke you up to inquire if you would like to play music.
I was just 8 years old then.
You were 8 years old at that time.
Yeah.
All right. Did you really want to play at that time?
Actually, to my knowledge, I don't have that mind to play music then. But I have been going with him, learning the theory, the theoretical aspect of it. But that day, because I don't know that I will play music.
At 8, one will expect that you'll just be playing with your friends.
Exactly.
You just want to enjoy yourself. You want to enjoy your life.
Exactly.
You want to play football and all that. But now you were forced to start learning. Which of the instruments then?
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar. So within how many weeks did you learn the guitar?
2 weeks. Actually, it was a tough experience anyway. Very, very tough experience.
Very tough experience.
Very, very tough experience. Because what I knew was just the music on the wall, the notes on the papers, and let me say the G clef, E clef of the thing.
Okay. And you are enjoying that at that time.
That's then. But just book me up. Okay, come. Yeah, come and learn this thing. What I would do. I'd like to learn it. That very night I started my fingerprints on that note. Do re mi fa sol la ti do do ti la so wa mi re do. Then the following morning, he said, have you gotten it? I said, well, I'm trying, sir. In the evening, after coming back from school, wow, he started with me again. That second day was a tough day. Till the day I got to the stage.
It was a tough day.
Very tough day. Now, after 2 days, I have to learn the printing for 2 days.
Okay.
That 2 days was like 2 years. Just giving up. Just have to.
So he still beat you on top of it.
Of course. He did it very well. Because without that, I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. So actually, if anyone wants to learn the bass guitar, it normally takes how long?
Depends on how fast you are and how musically inclined you are.
But could it be as fast as 2 weeks?
No. Please, at most 3 months.
At
was
at
least
at least
3
3
months.
months. Now you
3 months.
learned something
In
which
2
even the
weeks.
brightest people will learn
Yeah.
for 3 months.
Yeah.
You learned within 2 weeks.
And the funniest part is that I have to learn some music notes. So the music and the bass that will follow each music.
Okay,
Understand? You know what I mean by that?
I understand.
That you play one note, this Oriwo, all those other music. I have to learn
Each song
each song,
to know the bass lines and everything that will
everything.
accompany everything.
And then
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, more than 15 music to 20 musics, 20 songs.
20 songs. Now, can you describe that first outing? What can you remember about that first outing?
And what I remembered was that I sat down at the corner, and when the time, I mean, when it got to that time, I will be called to play. There was one particular music that my dad want me to play that time.
Okay.
They call it Onimoto. Actually, the man has been playing. That man came.
That's Opadua.
Okay. That man came. He played some notes, some music, something with them. But when he got to that music, my dad said, "No, I'll let my boy come and play this particular."
And he did not rehearse that particular song with you, but he believed you'll be able to do it.
No, I did realize the something with my dad.
Okay.
But the man knows that I cannot even
run that skill.
That skill.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, this is the time I want my boy come and play these.
And NTA was recorded.
NTA was recorded, so it was to be transmitted.
Yes.
Then now called me and said, okay, we come. I like the bass. And before that song, we played about 2 or 3 songs to show them that I have that mind to play the bass. Then got into that music. This Sozila Mimi Titi Fafa Dodo Dodo. When I played that skill, that man just stood up and left the hotel.
Because that's the final.
Because
that should be the hardest of the songs. Wow.
Because how this small boy can, I still added some notes.
Okay.
After now it came to that man just walked to my place and stared at me very well. So looked at me. So well, not left.
8-year-old boy.
Yeah, not left.
So was that the beginning of the Freshers Band?
Actually, that was the beginning of the Freshers, but not. But there was a guy called Olumide that I had been singing before when he was 5 years old.
Your brother?
My brother.
Before then?
Before then.
Wow.
Then before
he's your younger brother?
Yeah, my younger brother.
A 5-year-old boy singing.
Then before then, we have 2 sisters that danced at the First Tax 77.
Okay.
Then
Papa's children too.
Papa's children. Cultural center then.
Okay.
Then from those 2 girls to Olumide, then back to me. That my own appearance now brings the Freshers Band.
So we're bound to pay.
That was
so in your family then you had vocalists, bassists, guitarists. What about
bassist? I was playing the bass.
Okay.
My dad was playing the lead guitar. Then one of my younger brother now is let me say the baddest guitarist in Nigeria now.
Wow.
Bolan playing drums.
Drums, okay.
The guy that I said that was singing then playing conga. Then my sister that danced at that time was the lead vocalist.
Okay.
Then we had about 5 on stage.
5 children.
5 children on stage.
Who was the eldest then?
Then my sister.
That's Ibidun.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was the vocalist.
Vocalist.
And who was the youngest?
And Bolan.
Was
playing the drums.
And you played for the High and the Mighty.
Exactly.
You played all around Nigeria. Who were the dignitaries you played for at that time?
That time we played for this government. Let me say, presidents. President Babangida. Play for Babangida, Abacha, play so many. All these are better life for rural,
Okay.
better lives. We do represent Oyo State, and we have represented Oyo State so many times for international and all national programs.
Okay.
So we have done that. Mostly we do play at the government house at Agodi. Anything they want to do anything on.
So your band was a delight to watch at that time. And you met big bands. You met King Sonny and this band, Obey. They all know you.
Actually, the time we played when King Sonny was doing him say this 10th year anniversary, he was crowned.
Okay, that was 1987.
We played with him. But something came up, and that thing that came up was that brought us not to be playing with him again.
What happened there?
Because he wanted to after we played, they wanted to leave the stage. The crowd now shouting, no, don't wait, let these boys continue the music. It was like a slap
on his face. Like a big brand was bullied out of stage
down,
for small children.
Yeah, it was a slap. Now after the show, now called my dad. Maybe after then, I said, that
Segun.
Please don't play. Don't let these boys come to my stage anytime I want to play. Please. So he said it, but we don't know. He called our dad. Dad has to tell us, guys, this is what Sonadu said. We should not be playing with him. I said, no problem now. But we have to. All those things, because then there's no band that can face us.
Now, that time you were always in the news. Yes, in the newspaper. They were always talking about you.
Sketch, Punch, Tribune, all the papers. What was it?
All right. I'm going to face that day again now. You started your freshers band.
Yes.
Was that after you did some production works for Inyada Records, or after?
I recorded my album in 1977 at Inyada Records.
Yes, I know, 1977.
Yes.
But I'm sure you produced some other artists at Inyada Records.
So many artists.
So were you on contract with Inyada Records, or you were on salary, or you were just doing freestyle?
50 naira salary
at Inyada Records.
Yes.
But you still had your band then?
No.
Okay, you didn't have a band then?
I didn't have my band then. Since I took up the appointment, I was producing, conducting the artists, and I would still play where they had no instrumentalist to do the job. I would still do everything. And I also opened a record shop. He opened a record shop for me at Ojaoba. You know that. With all this, and I was somebody who would never, I had decided never to take bribe from anybody. So I wouldn't take a dime from any of the artists we recorded. No, I wouldn't take a kobo from them. So there were days I would record, I would be in the studio for 3 days without anything.
Can you share with us some of the artists you produced at Inyada Records?
Most of them were local artists, apart from the Christian religious music. Ewi Exponent Kayode Aremu was one of them. I think Larry Adepoju too was there.
You produced him?
Yes. Ajagbe Mokeferi, I remember we recorded Ajagbe Mokeferi to abuse Ololu and Kayode Aremu to abuse Ajagbe. And we recorded them the same day. So people thought they were really fighting, but it was just a fluke. People never knew what it was, and it almost caused commotion in Ibadan. Then artists, women from Ijebu, all this waka thing, recorded many of them. I remember recording Kollington.
Okay.
Yes, Kollington and Ila recorded him. So many other artists. Especially our musicians, Highlife musicians too, recorded Highlife musicians. I remember recording Sally Young. When he recorded Sally Young, No the Money. Skido was on conga for him that time.
Kí ni relationship yín? I want you to relate your relationship with Victor Olaiya.
Victor Olaiya, when I was young, very, very young, say around 56, 57, 58, up to around 60, when he came to play at UI for Independence, I had always been very, very close to him. And I would sit with him on the stage with all his band members. But at that time, I never intended to go to Lagos with him. But each time he came, he would always look for me at the administrative building of UI. And I would use his trumpet as my own gate ticket, as my own ticket to the hall. Sometimes he would play, usually Olaiya would play at the Tower Court stage, while if there was any other band, he would play at the Trenchard Hall. So, but much as I would have loved to play with him, you see, at the time I would have loved to play with him, most of his old musicians had left, except Victor Kuka, the tenorist that.
Oh, so Victor Kuka was an artist under Victor Olaiya.
It was with Victor Olaiya. It was later was the band leader. He was a tenorist. So
now, who did this song originally? Ìlú òyìnbó dára, ọ̀rẹ́ mi ó dùn púpọ̀.
That's Eddie Ojo.
Because Victor Kuka did another version of that song. So we're trying to know who did the original version.
Perhaps Victor Kuka might have had it because Eddie Ojo was with him, with Victor Olaiya too.
Okay.
So perhaps one of them would have been the composer of the song. And I also learned somebody had sung that song before.
Ìlú òyìnbó dára.
Yes, Ìlú òyìnbó dára. It was played one day.
Before Dele Ojo.
Before Dele Ojo, yes. That person was also in England. Or might be, perhaps after Dele Ojo might have recorded it here in Ibadan.
Okay.
That person, it is possible that that person might have recorded it.
Dele Ojo recorded it first, I think, in 1964.
In 1964, yes. So that was the first time I heard it anyway.
Were you close to Dele Ojo as you bear the same surname, Ojo?
We were very, very close. Very, very close. We were both hunters. We used to go on hunting. We used to travel far. We would go to places. It's so funny. We were very close.
Did you meet Roy Chicago?
Roy Chicago came to play with my children at BCUS with Eddie Okonta now. We recorded at BCUS. They came from Lagos. You see, that's one thing with our musicians, our old musicians. they did not mind playing with these little kids.
Children. Oh.
So far, they played the correct music. So they were very happy. We featured together, we did everything. And I went to collect them in Lagos. And even that day, the car was with the mechanic, and he had to go and buy another car. That day, we bought a Mercedes Benz that we brought to Ibadan. That day.
You remember the episode of the accident he had where 2 children were killed?
Yes, I remember. It was just an accident, and it was regarded as manslaughter.
It was early in the morning.
Perhaps when they were coming from play, I
can't remember.
Okay.
Now, what was your interaction with Adeolu Akinsoya like, or did you not have any one-on-one with him?
I had one-on-one with him. I was very close to Papa J, and I would always go to Western Hotel to meet them. But there was a time I decided to bring some of those who had played with me before and were with him, like Faleya, Demos Deniran, and a host of others. When I formed a band at Batik Tulips, we called that band at the Batik Tulips Hotel. Now, I went to Lagos. They were playing at Mayflower Hotel, and then I sat down with Papa Adeolu, and then I bought 2 bottles of stout for him, and I had one. He did not know I was coming down with all his musicians.
Oh, so you went there to steal his musicians?
They were my men. Some of them had played with me at Kano when I was at Kano, Paradise Hotel at Kano. And then, when I got back to Ibadan, because Eddie Okonta said for me, and I came down to Ibadan. Now, when they now came back here, and some of them were with Adeolu, some of them were with Orlando Julius. So I had to go to Lagos, and I brought all these people. We were together in Ibadan. We formed the band on Monday, and we practiced. And on Friday, we went to play at Premier. Some people wanted us to go to Port Harcourt, and the Dele Adejumo, who owned the instrument. Now, after seeing money, we played Sunday Jump at Independence Hotel. When we saw money, okay, let's give these people who had been with me since Monday. I had been feeding them. They need money. They said it was going to take 1/3. The instrument will take 1/3, and the 11-piece band will take 1/3. Which was wrong, and the musicians, we all said okay, until we got to the practice the following morning. Now, when we got, these people went very early in the morning to set the instrument because we were to start practice at 9. Then they left one of my boys, Palmas or something, Las Palmas or Palmas, I have forgotten his name now. It was an our boy. It was with me. So I didn't know. All of them, they wrote a letter down for me. They told the boy not to give the letter to me until about 2 o'clock. And many of the pressmen who came, Mr. Davis was there. He was there with us.
Mr. Davis? Yomi Davis.
Yomi Davis.
Okay.
He was there. Odeyemi was there from Sketch. Some people from Tribune. All of them, they were there. They got there since about 10 o'clock. And I didn't know. We were expecting the boys to come so that we would start practice, not knowing they had all traveled back to Lagos. Until 2 o'clock before the boy now came to give me the letter. When I read the letter, I just gave it to the pressman to read. For what Dele Adejumo did, a kobo of that, of the money we made, I did not touch. Then, for people now we had formed the band. He came to beg me again. We formed the band again. Exactly how the first one happened. The second happened like that again. And I had to leave. So, I learned this man, one of our old Nepal's worker. Hey, Taju will remember the name. Manuhi or something. No. I've forgotten his name now, but I will remember. Now he went to take over the band. The same thing happened to him. And ever since, that was how the men, all the musicians I had, they had to go until we had to go to form Grutu's band because Akim Karim just left the place for some reasons. But unfortunately, the man had decided to sell the place. After we played for 1 month, Kemba had to beg me that it was as a result of what happened with the band that played last there, that he had decided, he had made up his mind to sell the place out. But instead of paying us 1 month's salary, he paid all of us, everybody, 2 months' salary. So
King Kennytone influenced Black Man I Keep Carrying. Did you meet King Kennytone?
King Kennytone.
Yes.
I knew King Kennytone since 1964. When we were at, he was first at Mayfair Hotel, Okeado, and then Rex Williams took over Mayfair, and he was at, was it Seven Sisters? Yes, I think Seven Sisters. So he played in Ibadan. He had been in Ibadan for long ago. It was in Ibadan. He recorded Banuso, Okpeni Fun Baba, Twist Egokwo. It was in Ibadan. He recorded all these songs now.
So he spoke fluent Yoruba. Did he?
What?
King Kennytone spoke fluent Yoruba.
Fluent Yoruba? Lagos Yoruba. He had been in Lagos for too long. Perhaps he grew up in Lagos, if he was not born in Lagos. And then the last time we met was at Sapele. When he was the residence band of Silver Triangle Hotel at Sapele then. Then when we finished playing at Warri, and we hadn't gotten any place to play on the 24th December, so I decided to go to Sapele because the owner of that hotel was my friend, Papatomi. So I went there, and fortunately for us, he was engaged by the School of Agric, Sapele, and then I had to make arrangements there, and it was a fantastic night, the greatest night we had on the tour we went, because we went on a 2-month tour. That was the greatest night. All the debts we were owing the driver were paid there. So,
all right, sir. Highlife has really taken a backseat. Talking about music in Nigeria. In the 60s and the in the early 60s, it used to be Highlife music. Well, later, during
Up till the
the
70s.
towards the end of the 60s,
Mm.
the 67, 68, 69, 70s, it started to nosedive, and
It
by
was
this,
1969 that most bands got dissolved.
why?
Most boys went into the army, and
Okay.
then there were no instrumentalists around again.
But Juju music got the better. It was advantageous to Juju musicians, and they had instrumentalists at that time.
Juju bands at that time were very weak. They were not as what we had in the 80s, 90s, and so on. But what happened is this. After the bands, most of the boys went into the army. And you know one thing, because most of the highlight musicians were always eager to learn. So they felt they could go into the army to read music. You know, when you are in the force, you'll be made to read music. And so many musicians wanted to have that rudimentary aspect of the music. They want to have knowledge of music reading, because we had very few um, schools of music, except in Ibadan here we had only Chris Ajilo, who had a school of music.
That was in the 60s.
Yes, 60s and 70s. We had Chris Ajilo in Ibadan here. He lived at Oduono then, Agotilo. So, but when I detected that, when Eddie Okonta now left Ibadan, because I told him to leave Ibadan for Lagos, that he had most of his colleagues who were with the NTA and Radio Nigeria, that they would not want him to fall out, and he left. It was then I decided to start Music on the Wall
At the NTA.
at NTA and WNTV, NTV later, then NTA. So that was how we started, because I was eager to teach people instruments. And that was why I set up my own children to also go into music. And we decided to go to schools, nursery schools, primary schools, secondary schools, up to the university and to the universities. We played everywhere, polytechnics. We went everywhere so that people will be encouraged. And today, I am happy. There were times I had been interviewed and I told them, music will save Nigeria. Music will save Nigeria, because it was music. I told them it was music that would many of our children will rely on. Look at what is happening today. Music is a savior. Many of the children are billionaires, millionaires and billionaires today.
But let's look at this shift. In the 60s, it used to be Ibadan, Ibadan, Ibadan. The Seat of Entertainment, the Paradise Club, the Mayfair Hotel, all these clubs, they were in Ibadan. All the big names were in Ibadan. But now, if you want to become a big name, then you just have to be in Lagos. Why or how did Ibadan lose it?
Now, let me tell you something. The emergence of the University College Ibadan had a national approach in nature. There was no part of Nigeria that was not represented at the University College Ibadan.
Yeah, from the east, from the north, from everywhere.
From everywhere. It was like a national town. And so everybody and people would want to enjoy themselves. So every hotel had a band. If you don't have a band, you will not get your normal patronage. So every hotel had a band, and they were paid. Musicians were engaged and paid, well paid.
That was then in Ibadan.
Yes, that was then in Ibadan.
So do we conclude that it's because Unilag started elsewhere, then it had to shift to Lagos, or University of Ife started, and some of these artists had to leave Ibadan for Ife?
Let me tell you something. Lagos, as the capital of Nigeria, was more funded than every other place. You see, and now recording studios were in Lagos, emanated in Lagos, and that shifted many of the musicians to Lagos. Thank God, the Juju musicians used us to improve. They used us to improve. Like, I joined, when Eddie left for Lagos, I first formed a band at Crisbo, and then Josiola came with Dele Ojo from England, and we decided to form his own band to oppose Dele Ojo.
Because they had a fracas.
Because they
dealt with each other.
Yes. So that was what happened. And my being there, at the same time, I had to develop some other bands. I was playing with Olorode anytime he had engagements, and we didn't have engagement. I would go and play with him. Papa Ojoge Daniel, I would play with him. And then Papa Ojoge Daniel also had one of his men leading his band when he was not on stage. That's Remi Bakare.
Remi Bakare later led Ayinde Bakare's band.
No, that's not Remi Bakare. Remi Bakare is an Ijesha man. I think he was an Ijesha. I remember his wife is from Ife. Remi Bakare, we played together. We recorded together with Papa Ojoge Daniel. And Papa Ojoge was popular. He would go to Lagos, we would play together. Sometimes we would play alongside Papa, what's his name? Nightingale.
Okay.
I remember we played together at Ikoyi. He was playing and we were playing also. So it was, and this guy played tenor guitar for him then. Monday John.
Okay. Yeah.
It was from
Monday John was with Nightingale.
Nightingale, yes. It was then after he joined the Ebenezer Obey. So Lagos was the capital, and there was money there to throw all around, especially after the independence, and then because of the radio and television stations and so on. So Lagos was fantastic, and so the most musicians now, Ibadan, when it was deteriorating and Juju bands were, instead of engaging Highlife bands, once they saw one guitar Juju band, all the Juju bands in Ibadan, like Olalekun Olorode, a fantastic singer, IB Oriowo in Ibadan, Jide Ojo, Josiola, Dele Ojo, Idowu Animashaun, all these people, they were good. They developed. I want to tell you one secret today. I am not praising myself. I touched every band. I touched most of these bands. I want to tell you, I touched most of these bands because I introduced all these intros, musical intros at national. when I was playing with, I think Remi Bakari, yes. Olalekan Olorode was my man, but we will play together. But you know, Olalekan Olorode was good. So each time we came to the stage, I would have taught the bass man some intros. Then we will start with those intros. So each time I now came, we came to the hotel. Each time I just came in, Sami will ask me, one of Olorode's men, he will say, Ṣẹ̀gẹ́, èwo la tún fẹ́ gbọ́ lónìí o. So most of the bands in Ibadan, that was how we started it. And I remember Jacob Oluwole at Independence Hotel, because each time he came, they would call us to come and play with him. So he had to call me and told me, Joe, ẹ má jẹ́ kán máa gbé yín fún wa mọ́, because they were paying money to come to Ibadan from Lagos, and each time we played with them, we were always giving them headache. This guy was with him then. Oliver the Cook was his guitarist then, and I was also tough on the guitar. So we had to counter ourselves at that time. So you see, gradually all the bands took up this intro technique. You know, Highlife band will not play a song without an intro. So that was what happened. Even Ebenezer Obey, the guy that first played the bass for him, that night in 1970, December 31st, it was my bass they saw, and they asked where they would get to buy it, and I told them to go to Agbeni to go and meet Omopos, that there was one there, because I bought my own from Omopos too. So they went there and bought it, and we played together that night, Eddie Okonta and Ebenezer Obey. So when Eddie was on stage, I would play bass for Eddie Okonta. If they started playing, I would go and play the bass for them. And when we closed, Samson came to me and said, this guy will be the one to play the bass. I should teach him something. I thought he wanted me to really give him the table. And now I gave the table, I drew the table for him. Then Samson said, Ani, into you play tabade kulini, tabado kulini. So
because you already got the bass guitar.
Yes. Because they wanted to get to Lagos. You know, Ebenezer Obey was a very clever musician. A very clever musician. He would practice in Ibadan. He would go and record in Lagos. They had a room at Ososami area there. We would be practicing at Georgia Kaiser's room. The next room was their own room, and they were 16. It was there they would practice all their songs. They would just get to Lagos and record. So he now said, something said, I should teach him something that he will play in Lagos. I tried to give him, I told him to play do so so, re so so, do so so. But as a first timer, his fingers could not move. Now I thought of what to do. I now told him to play do so so. So instead of playing so so, I said he should play do so so, re so so, do so so, re so so, do so so.
Okay.
Re so, and that was, as he was able to get that when he got to Lagos. That was how he played it. It was later I started adding something to it. It was later, and anytime, anywhere we met, I remember we met once at Shagamu, and he himself and Samson, they came to sit where I was playing. So we was looking at the way I was playing. And gradually, that is everything started changing. The guy that first played bass for Sonny Ade was with me at Crisbo. I mentioned it before. Sidona. It was my second guitarist at Crisbo.
Akinyele Sidona.
Yes. He was playing with me. He was playing with me at Crisbo. Then Sonny Ade got him in Lagos. And he was the one that started playing the bass for Sonny. So, see, in most of the bands, one thing I note is this. These people will bring their local people from home, and then they will develop them gradually. They might not have been playing anything before, but when they brought them in, they will teach them gradually, and gradually they will improve. And here we are. Thank God. But one thing, people don't understand one thing. Musicians were called Alagbe. They never believed any musician could do something tangible in life. So I'm always thankful to God for developing such as Obe, Sonny, and most of the well-developed musicians. I am always very proud of them, but I will not tell them I was proud of them. I will criticize them so that they could always improve, because I want people to improve. I want improvement, because it was my joy that people are improving. That was why I decided to teach music on the wall. And would you believe it? I taught music on the television, that program, for 5 quarters. That's 65 weeks. It was from that program that I developed the people we reformed the Freshmen. And then I got some instrumentalists, some from the army too. They would come to play with me from Tigers Band. Then when they had engagement, sometimes I would go and play with them. Because that was Highlife musicians who were free-minded. Nothing.
Now, you've spent about 57 or 58 years now as a professional artist, because you started at 19. That was what you told us initially. So you are very close to 60 years as a band leader.
Yes.
Very close to 60 years now. Do you have regrets so far, comparing yourself to a lot of your mates that you started together, or some of your mates that charted or sought new paths or different paths for themselves? Your mates that didn't come through music, that went through to other things, but you have stayed through to music. You've been religiously faithful to music for about 58 years now. Do you have regrets so far?
Let me tell you, perhaps if I had regrets, that would be personal. That could be just the disappointment I had when the children eventually could have been able to go further with my kind of development. And unfortunately, my wife made them to desert me when I needed them most. And I had no choice. But thank God, we are going to be back fully very soon again.
Okay.
All the children are fully ready to come back now, musically. Besides that, apart from the difficulties musicians encounter, but I must give you one thing musicians should be grateful of, that we had women who would support us when we were in difficulties. Say, perhaps throughout the day you've not eaten. And one thing with a musician is that if he was hungry, he would never tell you. If he had not taken anything throughout the day, you would never know. But most of the time, our ladies in the hotel helped musicians. Out of this, we saw some of them that got married to each other. Yes, it happened. Many of these ladies in the hotel, they got married to the musicians, and they are making it well in life. I vividly remembered on my birthday in 1966, on the 19th of April, the food I ate on the 18th before we got to the stage was the food in me until we got to the stage on the 19th.
There was no money to buy
no
food.
money to buy anything. And that day, the band leader told me, when we played the signature tune, there was a place I had to pitch high, but I couldn't pitch. Now Roger said, Segun, waiting now. Waiting happened. And I remembered that I had not eaten since yesterday night. I told him. And he now said, Segun, why? I said, I'm not eating since yesterday. Then he said, you didn't say it, you didn't tell me. Okay, go and take money at the gate so that you can go and eat. I went to the gate, I took 1 and 6. The guitarist just dropped the instrument and came to meet me there. Why should you go and take money? Why should you go and do this? I said, but you were there when the band leader told me to go and collect it. And it was funny. He started telling me, look, he will fight me, he will beat me, he will tell me he was unable. Then I said, that was what angered me, because I was into sports. I was a boxer, I was a weightlifter, and I was a footballer. Then for somebody to come and tell me, he would tell me he was unable. Then I asked him, what does an able man eat that I don't eat? You are eating apple, I'm eating apple. You are eating eba, I'm eating eba. Why should you tell me that? I don't want to hear. That was what made me to abuse him. Then he wanted to blow me. He wanted to blow me, give me a blow. I just parried it off, and then I just gave him a punch, and his teeth caught on the head. That was what surprised him. He said, "My teeth are not. They did not remove. He just cut all of them." And then he wanted to bend down to carry me. I just picked him up and I threw him because I didn't want him to knock me on the head. As I threw him, he fell on the empty bottles. Whoa, and there was noise. Rogers came and said, Segun, you want to kill somebody? And he said he sacked me from the band. And immediately he said he sacked me from the band. I just went out and I went to meet 7-7, the man who taught Victor why for guitar.
Okay. 7-7.
A Cameroonian, yes.
Okay.
7-7. And I went to play with them. I didn't tell them what happened. And that was how I left.
All right, sir. To wrap up.
That's all my only regret.
To wrap up, sir. Your children are everywhere. Let's know where all those young children you disturbed those years that you forced to play music at age 8, age 5, and all that. Let's know where some of them are today.
They are all very much around now. On my birthday, I invited all of them, and they all came. Goke is back fully from Abuja. See, I think he led Ayegbeni's band at Abuja.
Dirovans, right?
Dirovan's band. Yeah, was it Dirovan's band or what was it? Wallan at
Okay.
Wallan Hotel, Abuja. Now, Goke is back to Ibadan. Olumide is here, a fantastic bassist, drummer, congarist. Is very much in Ibadan. Bolahon is roving between Ibadan and Lagos. One of the foremost guitarists we have around now, serving Ibadan and serving Lagos. It's going to be around Sunday. It's also in Ibadan, playing with one of the best bands in Ibadan today, if not in Nigeria.
Which band?
Ayefele's band.
Okay, Yinka Ayefele's band. Okay.
Yinka Ayefele's band. Bolahon is with Tope Alabi.
Okay.
I think he leads the band there. So, and is an artist.
He leads the band or he captains the band?
He captains the band.
Okay.
A captain is a leader, isn't it? Not because somebody sings, then you call him a leader. No. The captain of the band is the leader of the band. Then Nike, I think she's also back in Ibadan. She's a choreographer. She has a choreographed group. They dance, they do all these artistic things. And she's now back to Ibadan because we are all preparing to have our band back now. And mind you, the eldest of them now is 49.
Okay.
And like Goke said before, Goke is now 47. Sunday is also 47, while Olumide is 45, and Bolahon is 43 or so, isn't it? So they are all now, they want to show maturity, musical maturity. Because we only need to dictate. We don't, even if we don't practice at all, once you write their parts, this your part, this your part, this your part, we can play to any length. So, but by the grace of God, they are all very much around, and music is our food. Sometimes I wonder when people say, you like you said, I co-opted the children and so something. I want you to understand that our family house in Ogbomoso, the Ojo that you hear, is from Abagbajo. Omo Abagbajo. We are naturally musicians, natural musicians from birth. Wọ́n bá bímọ ní ilé wa tí ò bá gbé ibi ẹ̀kọ́ rùn kì í ṣe ọmọ Òjó. Ilé Abágbàjó ní Takí l'Ógbómọ̀ṣọ́. Then Abágbàjó gave birth to Joshua Akobejidana Oye, a pianist too. Baba Akobejidana Oye, a pianist. My uncles played guitar, but that played guitar. In fact, it was in 1954 that I first saw is guitar. So we are grateful to God. We are natural musicians, so it's not strange saying they are all playing music. It's not strange. We are natural musicians. Ibidu went to my sister to Gumosho. My sister was a headmistress, and she was with her. During any festival, Ibidu would dance away. They would be looking for her. They'll be hunting her about. Thank God she represented Ogbomoso local government at National Theatre, and she got national award there. She received the Oyo State Merit Award. Today, we thank God for everything. So
I want to thank you, sir, for your time. I've really taken your time.
okay.
I appreciate you, and I really appreciate all you have done for music and how you have been able to make mankind happy with your gift and for the gift of your children, because you really gave mankind your offspring to continue to do music, the likes of Goke, Sunday, all of them, all of them, all of them. And this is quite encouraging to people who believe or who will always say that or people that believe that if you do music, then you can't do something else. It's quite possible to do music and still be fantastic academically.
Yes.
There are two different things. You don't know which one will pave way for you in life, but really, you've done well, and I want to appreciate you once again. I've been speaking with Chief Segun Ojo. Chief Segun Ojo is based in Ibadan, Oyo State. He lives around Agbowo UI in Ibadan. So, in case you want to reach Chief Segun Ojo,
080 56 42 7369.
all right, the number will be displayed. The number is displayed right here on your screen as you're watching this broadcast on YouTube. Once again, Chief Segun Ojo, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your hospitality.
I quite appreciate you, and God will always be with you.
Amen.
Ẹ ṣé. A dúpẹ́.